Hey everyone, this is Aaron Fink from Grapple City Rewind. If you like what you hear on this episode, give us a follow or leave us a review on whatever platform you listen to. Anything will help. It'll go a long way in helping us to be discovered by more wrestling fans like you. All right, cue the music.
Hello and welcome to Grapple City Rewind, taking you all the way back to the iconic pay-per-views and television specials that shaped professional wrestling history. Today we have a very unique show on hand. We are talking about the biggest wrestling audience in the history of the world, also the quietest audience, also an audience in a very peculiar place known as North Korea, which most American wrestlers never see in their life. It's 1995's Collision in Korea. But before we get into all of the peculiar oddities of Collision in Korea, I'm Bradley Palermo. Here as always with Aaron Fink. And Aaron, last night I went to AEW's Revolution. You were watching from home. We were under the weather, unable to make it in person, but pretty fun event. What did you think of the outcome?
I thought it was a lot of fun overall. I mean, it was very long as they always are. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Some matches I enjoyed a bit more than other matches, but I think overall it was a pretty solid pay-per-view. Let me just look at the card again.
I mean, the main event with Hangman and MJF was really good, and he always just brings out the best in his opponents. I can't believe, though, that Hangman's now no longer to challenge for the AEW World Title, which is kind of limiting for a top guy to take that role.
It feels very limiting. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to go back on it in some way or whatever, but yeah, it's he's never supposed to be able to challenge again. I can't say I was super surprised that he lost. I thought that was probably what the outcome of the match was going to be.
It's better for business.
But yeah, it's just man, what an insane match that one was. But there were a lot of good matches. The opener, the actual opener, FTR versus the Young Bucks was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Tony Storm, Marina Shafir was pretty good. Moxley, Takeshita, I liked. Swerve Brody was pretty good. Tekla Statlander was good. Andrade versus Bandito, I thought was really good.
Yeah.
I could deal with without the tag matches except for the first one. Like the 6-man tags were only okay.
Yeah.
To me, but I don't know. It sounded like y'all were having fun the entire time. Pretty loud.
It was good. It was loud. The crowd was rowdy. It was sold out. It felt intense. Some of the people in the crowd were assholes, but that happens whenever you have a big group of people.
Yeah.
Some guy at the end of our row who wasn't letting people in and out. He was kind of had like a tough guy sort of thing, which people always debate, like, are WWE fans or AEW fans, better?
Worse.
I think it's hard to say. I think when I've seen really hostile people, I've seen more fights and stuff at AEW shows because WWE skews a little more family friendly.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was still it was a lot of fun, and I had a pretty good vantage point up there per usual. So AEW doesn't disappoint with those pay-per-views.
Yeah, absolutely.
1995, Collision in Korea, a split promotion event between New Japan Professional Wrestling, obviously out of Japan, and WCW out of the United States. They somehow put this together, I guess, as some sort of cultural global unity attempt. I'm not exactly sure how this all came together. It was Inoki, I believe, the wrestler, who was a big deal in North Korea and was able to put this together. But the event took place in Pyongyang, North Korea, at the Rungrado 1st of May Stadium, which is one of the largest stadiums on the planet. Day one had 150,000 people, and day two was reported at 190,000 people, combining that to 340,000 people total, making it, by some say, the largest. I'm sure that can be disputed in some shape or form, but the largest crowd in professional wrestling history. But before you picture like a WrestleMania level energy, that's not what this is. These people haven't seen professional wrestling or Americans. There's not an energy at all. There's no cheering. There's no booing. There's no chance. Picture a mall with 100 and something thousand people in it, where there's just kind of chatter in the background. Like, that's what it sounds like. There's no pop.
Yeah. Not to mention that what we do here doesn't sound like it's the actual crowd that's there. Like, it seems like they were just overdubbing some sort of crowd noise over it sometimes. Like, I had to really struggle to hear what actually sounded like the North Korean crowd that it was happening in front of.
And to be fair, we watched the version that was released on WCW pay-per-view months later, edited down to a couple of hours. This was a 2-night event with, some ridiculous amount of matches. I think we only saw a handful of matches in what we watched. So we saw the portion that was sort of presented for the Americans.
Yeah, we saw 8 out of 15 matches total.
Yeah, and so this has Eric Bischoff and Mike Tenay sort of doing commentary and trying to explain what the fuck's going on. I think there was a New Japan Pro Wrestling announcer with them, but it was all that announcing was done, overdubbed after the fact for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the card itself is a mix of WCW wrestlers and the New Japan guys, culminating in a main event, which is Ric Flair and Antonio Inoki. But there's nothing like weird about the wrestling here. It's the weirdness it's the atmosphere. The atmosphere is weird.
It's just the vibe of the place. Yeah. Yeah, not to mention that, we're not even, so there's a Dark Side of the Ring episode about this whole event and the traveling and what all of the wrestlers and Bischoff experienced while they were there. And I rewatched that recently.
Me too. Yeah.
And, it paints an interesting picture because the wrestlers, everyone immediately got their passports taken when they got to North Korea, and it seemed like nobody really wanted them there. There's all these military personnel, people with guns with them 24/7. And yeah, the wrestlers describe most of the matches across both nights as just being dead quiet.
Yeah, and we can sprinkle in as these matches go, like what we know from Dark Side of the Ring, and kind of add some of that stuff in there too, because having that sort of behind the curtain peek from the documentary episode on this really kind of changes the way you can see what's going on. I mean, these guys are not free; they're prisoners in North Korea for
basically
a temporary period of time. They're not allowed to just leave their hotel or talk on the phone and blah blah blah. So I believe it was certainly not the first match of the evening,
but the first match we saw
was Too Cold Scorpio versus Chris Benoit. Is that correct?
Yes, and they both were under different names. Too Cold Scorpio was Flying Scorpio, and Benoit was Wild Pegasus.
That's a terrible name. Wild
Pegasus. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just funny seeing Scorpio go out there and do his dance. Just an American,
especially after his part in the Dark Side episode.
Well, Too Cold Scorpio in the Dark Side episode is plotting the death of Road Warrior Hawk,
yeah.
Who'd also, I guess Hawk wasn't, kind of following the rules, and he felt like he was putting Scorpio felt like he was putting everyone's life at risk, and then Hawk called him the N-word, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
So there was he was thinking about, well, I got to kill him so, he doesn't get us killed. And it's pretty dark. He didn't seem like he was joking, he ultimately did not kill.
No, he was not joking at all. It was intense.
So, but yeah, so I mean, just imagine, an American muscly pro wrestler, black guy doing like hip hop style, like dances to the move. Like, these people haven't seen any of these things. Like, I don't think they've seen an American. I don't think they've seen a black person. I certainly don't think they've seen someone move the way Scorpio does. Like,
Sure.
like it's just fucking fascinating, you know? It's like, and they're just sitting there, just, you know, completely blank. Yeah.
Yeah, they're dead quiet. It's just, you know, and so like you said, it's a solid wrestling match. It's not very long. The crowd is so dead quiet that like you just feel like there's no energy to the match at all. But it's not a bad match. It's like 6 minutes long. Benoit hits Scorpio with a pile driver and then his flying headbutt and gets the pin.
Yeah, that's about all that was. But awkward, just because no one really knew what to do or how to react. And then I think the second one we saw was the Yuji Nagata versus Takamitsu Ishiwa. This is going to be a hard episode for me. Takamitsu. Can you say these people's names for me, Aaron?
Yuji Nagata versus Takamitsu Ishizawa was the second match.
Okay, cool. These guys have the same haircut. They're both Japanese.
Color tights.
The same color tights, the same knee pads, the same boots.
Same general body type, except one guy was like a few pounds heavier than the other one.
But like, dude, I mean, they should have been a tag team because they were really hard to tell apart. And I don't know. I mean,
it also doesn't help that what we were watching was like very low quality, like digital transfer of a VHS from the 90s. So you can't really see anyone's face clearly to begin with.
Yeah, it's true. The faces aren't clear. And then, but like, yeah, you're like, okay, it's the guy that weighs 240, not the guy that weighs 225.
Right. Nagata was the one who weighed a little bit more than Ishizawa did, so that was how I was able to tell them apart.
Yeah, but they did, you know, the athletic sports style, like sort of legitimate presenting wrestling, like the Japanese champion.
Yeah, kind of strong style ish. You know, a lot of submission stuff, but they had like aggressive kicks and punches and stuff, but like a lot of like ground-based submission things as well.
And then the Japanese announcer was talking to Eric Bischoff. He's like, "We are very superior. You can tell our style is very superior to the American style." Which in wrestling commentary, you're always supposed to kind of talk shit to each other or whatever. But Eric's like, yeah. I don't know about superior. But I mean, it does look more real. I mean, you know, we kind of like our shit fake and full of mud stomps here in America, but you know,
sure.
But ended up with a submission. Nagata got that cross arm bar on Ishiwaza or whatever the fuck, however you say his name, and slow crowd reaction. You know, still, but it was solid grappling. I mean,
yeah. It was okay.
It's hard to watch this shit with a dead crowd because it's like it's fun to be like, okay, we're gonna watch some weird shit, but then when you actually have to sit there for hours and watch wrestling without an audience, even though it's the biggest audience in history, there's no audience.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right.
It's like it's a little bit exhausting. But was the third one that we got the hero?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Hiro Saito and Masahiro Chono versus El Samurai and Tadao Yasuda. And this was another good match. I know about Masahiro Chono. I've heard of him before. I don't think I've seen very many Masahiro Chono matches. So he was the person that I enjoyed the most in this. I felt like he was the most intense.
Yeah.
But again, another short match. It was like sub 10 minutes. And the guy, one of the heels, Tadao Yasuda, was like a ex-sumo wrestler. And they kept talking about how he was like, he's only been wrestling for a year or two.
Yeah, he's green, but he's, you know, has his history with sumo.
But he used to be a sumo, yeah. So
he still does that sumo like kick and stuff to the sides, like,
and the like, I don't know what you would call them. They're like palm thrusts, you know, like how you're pushing your opponent backwards with palm thrusts.
He seems a little light to be a sumo guy. He wasn't huge.
Well, yeah, he definitely must have lost some weight, but he was pretty tall. So yeah, this was, you know, another good match. Like I said, Chono hits a shoulder tackle from the top rope and gets the pin. So him and Saito are the winners of this one.
Woo! We'll save that one for later too. Okay, and what do we have for the fourth match?
The fourth match was Mariko Yoshida and Manami Toyota versus Akira Hokuto and Bull Nakano, the women's tag match. And I gotta say, I just after like maybe 4 or 5 minutes, like, yeah, some of it was a little messy, but overall, I felt like this was so much better than anything from the WWF, like from 1998 to 2002 or whatever, that chunk that we've been watching repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing real moves here.
Oh, for the women, you mean?
But it was very,
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, like this was very impressive for a women's match in 1995. And I know, I've obviously seen Bull Nakano before.
We'll be back after a quick break.
And this episode has been brought to you by Weber for Law, your tag team partner when life body slams you out of nowhere. If you've been injured in an accident, motorcycle, car, dog bite, slip and fall, or even if you've been hit in the head with a flying steel chair, these are the guys to call. They've got knockout reviews on Google, a killer track record, and they always fight for the win. I can testify to that personally. Weber for Law took care of me, and they will take care of you too. Don't wait. Visit weberforlaw.com. That's WEBER, the number 4, law.com. Or call 818-502-9200. That's 818-502-9200. Weber for Law, your tag team partner when life body slams you out of nowhere.
I bet those North Koreans have never seen anything like Bull's hair. I mean,
right.
We've talked about it before, but it's like she's blown it dry up while hanging upside down and then froze it with hairspray. So it's like Bart Simpson, but like, or maybe Marge Simpson.
Yeah,
but like
a mohawk.
Yeah,
sort
it's
of.
fucking way just straight up into the sky, and it goes way up there. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's like style in North Korea. Like there is one style. Like it's a conformity, sort of like everyone has like a uniform look. I don't think you don't see people with fucking green hair that's spiked up. So I almost wish I could interview some of these guys that were there. Be like,
yeah.
What is
right? Like, what were the reactions to some of these things?
Yeah.
I thought this was my favorite match so far, like of everything of the 3 that we've seen before. They had a lot of cool high flying stuff. They even someone did like a spot where they springboarded off the top rope to the outside. So yeah, this was like pretty solid stuff.
Yeah, Bull dominated that match for the most part, and finish was a pinfall. I think.
Yeah, Nakano won with a leg drop from the top rope and then the pin.
Yeah, I do. If we pause for a second, I have the Dave Meltzer ratings from the Wrestling Observer newsletter at the time. The Scorpio match, the Benoit Scorpio match, he gave 3.5 stars to. The Nagata match, 2.5. The tag team match that was 3rd got 2, and then the girls match got 2.5. So I mean, I guess I feel like star ratings kind of go with audience reaction, like hand in hand. It's really hard to judge, but yeah, I mean, there's not bad wrestling happening here, but it's also not like the coolest matches I've seen so far. But
it's just hard because it's like we've been saying, like the vibe of this place is just all wrong.
It's so wrong. Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like it's whatever they did to the audience, like however they decided to deal with the fact that they weren't making any noise. It just comes across not genuine to me.
Yeah. Like they're not fans. There's no way they had an opportunity.
Right. They're being forced to be there.
Right. Let's just say it. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like nobody is attending this thing willingly.
Right.
So, it takes 2 nights for them to really finally have some sort of a reaction. And it's literally not until the last match of the second night that anyone does anything.
Interspliced in between all these matches, there's like Olympic opening ceremony style events happening where performances, where like 1,000 people have like a sheet over their hair, like some tapestries, and it flows and it looks like the ocean or whatever, and then the mountain comes in. Like it's actually very cool. Like it's
super impressive.
It's impressive. But, again, like it sucks that probably no one has a choice on if they do that kind of art or not. But it is very cool. It's very pretty.
it's rather chilling, I suppose, when you
Yeah.
think about the fact that, like, yeah, there's thousands of people in the stands, you know, with the different color poster boards, and they're like switching them to make cool images in the background of like the ocean or flowers or whatever. But then you're like, oh, these people are being forced to do this. Like, this is kind of fucked up.
Pretty crazy. Then we get into sort of what looks a little bit like a American wrestling match. We got Scott Norton in there versus
Shinya Hashimoto.
Shinya Hashimoto. Thank you. And these are two big old dudes doing like big guy stuff. I think.
And this is for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship too.
And Scott Norton comes off like probably the scariest guy on this card.
Yeah, he's built like a brick wall.
And stiff strikes from Hashimoto, of course. Who was the champion?
Hashimoto was the champion, and they apparently had wrestled each other before this match for the belt that they're wrestling for now. The commentators mentioned it. And this is another one of the things that I remember from the Dark Side of the Ring episode is Scott Norton was talking about this match. And he was like, this was the quietest crowd I have ever been in front of. You know, we tried all this stuff to get a rise out of them, but they just didn't make a sound.
Yeah.
And so that's where like you can kind of feel like I can feel like the crowd is not really reacting to anything. And then when there are slight little noises, it feels like they were added in. Like it just doesn't feel natural. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree.
But yes, Norton did hit him Hashimoto like super hard a lot from the get-go. I liked it. I liked the match for sure. It's just I wish the crowd was making any kind of noise whatsoever for the entirety of this 20-minute match, and they didn't.
They went to a 15-minute time limit draw, which I think for a 2 3/4 star from Dave Meltzer, I think that, well, I was surprised, I guess, that they gave the Asian dude in front of the Asian audience, you know, a time limit draw and not just a clean defeat over the imperialist American or whatever, you know, because they fucking hate Americans, you know.
They do, but they also don't like Japan either. That's another part of the
right, yeah.
The Dark Side episode is like Japan had colonialized Korea for a very long time, and within the last 100 years prior to this, like had, you know, killed a lot of Koreans with some sort of like feudal occupation or something. So it's not like they love Japanese people either.
Right. But at least they
except for Inoki.
Yeah, I just think they like him for some reason. And they like Muhammad Ali a lot. They have him there. Seems like he'd been there before. He was at this event.
So they like the reason why they like Inoki. And this is something that I read about in that book that I read like 6 months ago or whatever, is Inoki was trained by someone named Ricky Dozan. Yeah. And he was another wrestler who made his name in Japan, but it came out before Ricky Dozan's death, or maybe right after, that he was actually North Korean had escaped a long time ago. And so he was kind of like a local hero, and him and Inoki were kind of bonded together because Ricky Dozan had trained Inoki. So that was part of the reason why he was well received in North Korea. And then also because Inoki had like a political career in Japan at the time, this was like, you know, this mission of peace that he was trying to use as a way to like get elected for whatever office he was trying to get into.
Fascinating. So, then we get the guy that Scorpio was trying to kill, Road Warrior Hawk, versus
Tadao Yasuda again.
Oh, Tadao Yasuda. Where the fuck did I? Oh no, that's a sumo wrestler.
Yeah, Tadao Yasuda is the ex sumo guy who we've already seen once.
Yeah. Okay. It's supposed to be a tag team match, but Animal he had an injury, or he found a way to not go to North Korea.
I think he had a back injury.
Yeah. So we only get Road Warrior Hawk, which is, you know, still fun. It's always good to see him. What a rush! And yeah, I mean, this is not much of a match. What?
This was fine. Yeah, I said it was fine because I'm just, by this point, I'm starting to get tired of listening to no crowd because like whatever I'm hearing is clearly not from the match I'm watching. Like this one in particular, you couldn't even hear any of the noise from them hitting the ring, like when they were
Yeah.
being suplexed and stuff.
So they doctored that. They were like, well, we got to at least have, I don't know.
Something. I don't
what
know.
the edit concept was, but
It was too short to care. It was like, what, 2 minutes long?
Yeah, I guess you could say it was a squash. But it was like Hawk's like, flying clothesline was like kind of sloppy, and that was his finisher, and he got the pin. But
yeah, not the
I was
best.
just thinking you went all the way to North Korea to do a squash.
To do a 2-minute match that like kind of sucked. Yeah.
Risked your life.
He's probably pissed off.
Yeah.
And almost got killed by Scorpio for using the N-word.
Yeah. Which, he had some choices in that.
Yeah, I think they said in the Dark Side episode that Hawk had hepatitis or something, like Hep C.
Oh, wow.
So he was not in good shape.
Yeah.
And obviously they couldn't drink, they couldn't take pills. Like that's the other thing that led to so much tension is none of the wrestlers could go and do any of the things that they were used to doing after they were done wrestling.
The guys were waiting outside of their room and listening to the phones.
Yeah.
So like
it was crazy.
They had no privacy. And they tried to go and play pool or whatever. Everyone looks at him like crazy. Bischoff tried to go for a run. They looked at him like he had like 3 heads, and they told him like you can't do that, So
yeah,
fascinating situation. But the next one was like probably one of the better matches. We had the Steiner brothers versus
against Hiroshi Hase and Kensuke Sasaki.
Yeah, it's fun to see the Steiners. They're
there's never anything wrong with a Steiners match. This one I kind of lost interest in before it was over. But there were some good moments. Hiroshi Hase gave Rick Steiner the big swing, so I'm wondering if that's who Claudio Castagnoli got it from.
I hate that move when Claudio does it the most. It just seems like a little kid move, something you do with your friends on the playground. But I did see that. Yeah. Power suplexes. What do you expect from the Steiners?
Some belly to bellies, and whoever it was that was editing this together, I guess, didn't have Scott Steiner pinning Hiroshi Hase.
Yeah,
for the win. So we didn't see that. We missed it.
We didn't see the pin. I noticed that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, they said like, oh well, we didn't see that, but but they played that Steinerized song that you like so much.
Yeah, it's good. It's good music.
But this was all building to the main event of night 2, which was the final match that we saw on this pay-per-view broadcast, and that was Antonio Inoki versus Nature Boy Ric Flair. First time matchup, which I thought was cool. This is where commentary took the opportunity to talk about what Inoki has done in terms of bringing Americans and Japanese wrestlers to North Korea to try to bring people together through entertainment and sport, yada, yada. And this is the match that actually, according to the wrestlers who were there, is the one match of both nights that actually got a visceral crowd reaction at all. And I remember, I think Scott Norton on the Dark Side of the Ring episode was the one who talked about it. Like, it took him a minute, but Flair and Inoki were so good that the crowd really got behind Inoki. And so they were cheering for his punches and stuff. And, I felt like I could maybe sometimes hear it just a little bit, but like not really. Never really felt like it. And that's the thing is I was like, okay, this is the one where they're actually a real crowd. Maybe this will be a good match.
Yeah.
But I still could barely hear them. You
could almost like phantom hear it. Like there was enough rustling that you were like, because what a crowd reaction should be for something, for a main event. And so you would almost be like, you hear like, did I just hear him go, oh? And I'm like, I don't think I did, but it was so close. It was like almost there. Like there was some gasping. Yeah. But the video package for this was, kind of framing it as like a serious international showdown that Ric Flair and Inoki, are taking this match very seriously. And it was good. Heel Flair is always fun. He's not bleeding for once in this one. But he's working very American style. He keeps tying Inoki up in the ropes and throwing him into the posts on the outside, doing the psychological work. Don't hit me, don't hit me. Messing, that kind of crowd manipulation as well. I mean, they're good at working with nothing in this situation.
Yeah, and it's a good match.
Inoki lands several stiff kicks and wins with a quick pin after countering Flair. I mean, it wasn't a huge long match. It was less than 15 minutes still, but it was solid. It was acceptable.
Yeah, it was good. You know, just I was the same as you. I did feel like I heard the crowd for a very small number of moments, but you do miss out on the vibe because it's just they're not cheering.
Dave gave this one a 3-star rating. He actually gave the Steiner match a 3.5-star rating, but that is Collision in Korea. Here at Grapple City Rewind, we have a 3-tier rating system. Fast forward, play, or rewind. Fast forward being, it's not good. Play being, it was good. Rewind being, it was spectacular. Since the decision to watch Collision in Korea was my call, sticking with tradition, I will give my rating first. It has a cultural significance. I'm glad I saw it, but I think this is one of those situations where, like, I watched it so you don't have to. I say fast forward. It's just not that fun to watch. It's not that fun to watch. It doesn't seem that fun to be in North Korea. That's the closest I've ever been to being there. Is watching this for 2 hours, and no. There was an okay match, or two, but like, I mean, none of these. All these guys have done greater things otherwise. I guess because Inoki and Flair hadn't matched up before, that's kind of cool, but that match wasn't like a banger or anything. So I'm going fast forward. What say you, Aaron?
Well, it was definitely, like you said, it's a unique part of wrestling history. There were some matches that were not particularly interesting to me. The vibe is super weird a lot of the time. There were some good matches on here for sure, but I think I'm gonna follow suit and give this one a fast forward.
Now let's hear from the Grapple Gang! And we always love to hear from you out there, the Grapple Gang. You can call us at 626-657-SLAM. Pick up the phone. Tell us your thoughts about the show. Tell us what you think we should watch next. Tell us whatever you want, or cut a promo on us if you just feel like being mean. We're down for it. Yeah, 626-657-SLAM is our Google Voice message system. So we're not going to pick up. You can just drop that message right in there. Send us an email, grapplecitypod@gmail.com. Find us across social media at Grapple City Pod. All those links are going to be in the episode description. Today, I believe I have a caller from an Ohio number. Let's see what this one says.
Hey guys, this is Mike calling from Cleveland. So since it's WrestleMania season right now, I had an idea for a future episode. I was thinking it could be cool if you guys did some kind of special breakdown of the first 5 WrestleManias, fairly full episodes on each one. But maybe like a big overview of that first era. You've got the whole spectacle of WrestleMania 1 with Mr. T, then the insanity of WrestleMania 2 happening, and then by WrestleMania 3, you've got Hogan in front of the Pontiac Silverdome crowd. But then the shows right after that get kind of weird. Like WrestleMania 4 is basically just one giant tournament, and WrestleMania 5 is the Mega Powers exploding. I feel like that first 5-year stretch is basically the blueprint for what WrestleMania eventually becomes. Anyway, love the show and figured that might be a fun topic during Mania season. Thanks, guys.
Have we covered early WrestleManias before?
I don't think so. Yeah, not yet. Not that far back.
Yeah, I know two kind of sucks. 3's, the one, I guess, that really takes it all off. 1 is pretty slow paced. Like it's surprisingly more difficult to watch than I think it's going to be. Every time I put it on, I'm like, oh my god, it's so like dark and slow. But I'm down. I mean, to go through it all. I'm sure we'll get to them all. I don't think we'll cover all 5 of them at once, but
that would be pretty wild. It would take a lot of time to watch them.
Yeah,
but I do think we should watch them for sure.
Cool. All right, so this episode was my call, making the next one your call. Do you know what we're going to watch for the next episode?
Yes, I have made a choice. We're going to watch WrestleMania 12 from the year 1996. It was March 31st of 1996. It was at the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim. in Anaheim, California. And this is the WrestleMania that had the Iron Man match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart for the WWF Championship.
Hell yeah.
So we've got, it's a pretty good card. It's not super long, obviously, because the Iron Man match is an hour.
It's an hour.
But we got Piper versus Goldust in a Hollywood backlot brawl, which I remember pretty well from when I was a kid. It's pretty funny.
That could be funny.
Stone Cold versus Savio Vega, Undertaker versus Diesel, Ultimate Warrior versus Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley is what they're calling him here.
Oh, wow.
British Bulldog, Owen Hart, and Vader versus Ahmed Johnson, Jake Roberts, and Yokozuna.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's it. And then Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches.
And that's like a New Generation era, so it's kind of more in my sort of my childhood era.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, I definitely rented this on VHS as a kid, for sure, because the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart match is very good.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was our shortest episode yet, but I don't really mind.
What can you really say about Collision in Korea? Like, wrestling, good, crowd, bad, vibe, weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's all there is to it. And if it wasn't for this podcast, I probably would have only seen the Dark Side of the Ring on it, and that would have probably been enough. But I'm glad I have that in my knowledge bank now. I actually sat there and watched. Well, I mean, I watched for what we were allowed to watch. I'm glad we didn't watch the other 18 matches or whatever. That would have been too much. But I see why they cut those out. So thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to call that number and let us know your thoughts and feelings on the show. And we'll get back at you as soon as we possibly can with a breakdown of WrestleMania 12.
Catch you in the cheap seats. Adios.